Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
The legislators in Lansing, which is the state capital of Michigan, have been busy working on some bills, including a few that, I don't think are that necessary, including this one. Larry sent me notes to Steve. Have you seen this one? Oh, yeah, I saw it. And I got a copy of the bill in my hand, by the way. So we'll talk about the story first. From WXYZ TV out of Detroit, Allie Hoxie wrote this. Proposed law would make it illegal for semi-trucks in Michigan to pass in the far left lane. So that far left lane would be off limits for big trucks. And I understand the notion of what they're getting at here, but I don't think this is necessary. And quite frankly, I'm convinced this is one of those things that has to do more with the matter of perception, because I've encountered more idiots driving cars in the left lane than big trucks. So right now, the bill's working its way through Lansing, but if passed, it would make it illegal for trucks to pass or even use the far left lane of traffic if the freeway is 3 lanes or more. So there's a bill, like I said, I have a copy of it here, that would ban trucks from the far left-hand lane, and a state rep has put the bill together, and he said it's a safety concern because when there is slower traffic in that left lane, it slows down traffic. People begin braking, people begin passing wherever they can, on the right, on the left, in between. They're just trying to move forward when they're where they're going, he said. There's already a law on the books in Michigan making it illegal for semi-drivers to drive in the far left lane under certain circumstances, but this bill would tighten those rules and make it easier for the police to hand out tickets. There are other states, likewise, that have similar bans, like Florida, Virginia, and Illinois. The rep said, if there's a truck versus car accident, the truck rarely loses. It's always that smaller vehicle that gets squished and people get hurt. And notice how he's jumped from passing in the far left lane to people getting squished by trucks. So not everyone agrees, and I'm one of them, but the Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association has come out with a statement denouncing the laws, which reads in part, a number of state houses are considering lane restrictions for commercial motor vehicles with the assumption that it will reduce congestion and travel delays while improving safety, pollution, and economic activity. Research has demonstrated, however, that truck lane restrictions are difficult to enforce, accelerate pavement deterioration, create speed differentials, and increase merging conflicts and crashes. That's multiple billions of dollars that the industry is spending on transportation, said a man from Novi, who is a semi-retired truck driver who's got a CDL. And he said a law like this in Michigan will hurt the truck drivers. Time is money. These gentlemen and ladies on the road make money by the mile, so the quicker they get that done, that's more money in their pocket. Now, the bill passed the State House, still needs the approval of the State Senate, and then, of course, the governor would have to sign it, that whole I'm just a bill up on Capitol Hill thing. And the rep who's behind this hopes to get the bill passed this year. Now, like I said, if you think about driving, and I've done a lot of highway driving in my life, and how often you encounter somebody in the left lane who shouldn't be there. I was coming back from a concert on Saturday night. This is about 11 o'clock at night, coming up out of Detroit, and I-75, there is many lanes. And I'm traveling along, and I'm trying to get around the slow traffic in the right lanes, and encounter a guy in the left lane doing about 50, 55. And just driving along, oblivious. Probably didn't even know what lane he was in. Just oblivious to where he was. People are going around him, screaming, honking, yelling. I wasn't screaming, yelling, or honking. But I had to go around him. Just driving along, just in a car. But I think more people remember when it's a big truck. What's that big truck doing out here? Well, what about that car you encountered 10 minutes earlier, or the car you're going to encounter 10 minutes later? And so people who hold CDLs go through a lot of work to get them. And they're driving someplace. They're professional drivers. It's what they do for a living. And the notion that there are trucks in the wrong lane and they're just clogging things up and squishing people is a little bit of a, it's beyond an oversimplification. It's kind of like not looking at what's really happening. So in case you're curious, it's House Bill number 4522, and it talks about use of the far left lane on a roadway with how many lanes, et cetera, et cetera. And it says that The driver of a truck with a gross weight of more than 10,000 pounds, a truck, tractor, or a combination of a vehicle and trailer or semi-trailer shall not drive the vehicle or combination of vehicles in the lane farthest to the left on a freeway with 3 or more lanes for travel in the same direction, except for a reasonable distance when making a left turn, which rarely happens on the freeway, or where a special hazard exists that requires the use of an alternative lane for safety reasons, or if otherwise posted closure to traffic for construction or repair. So there will be the situations where one lane is closed, they've got to get over, they're going to have to use that, or if they're in a situation where they can make a left turn out of that lane and they do that just reasonably to get over. But like I said, and I by the way, I've represented truck drivers, both with traffic tickets, and also I've represented a few guys back in the old days who'd bought defective trucks, big trucks. And so, I mean, I remember talking to a guy who's an independent about how he arranges, getting a load from here to there, and how he's got to arrange to get a load from there back, and how he's got to do all this stuff to coordinate to make it worth his time. And time is money, okay? And so the truck drivers aren't just dilly-dallying sightseeing like that idiot I encountered on Saturday night. They're trying to get where they're going, and they want to get there as fast as they can. And so the situations I can think of where I've encountered trucks in the left lane, it's usually because there's a gigantic backup of some sort, and people are just trying to get through it. And, to say, well, but still, if we keep them always out of that left lane, it's one of those things. I think that more often than not, it's just that people remember the trucks, but they don't think about the people in the cars. And so perhaps as a thought experiment on this, next time you're driving, pay attention when you're on those 3 or 4 lane roads and ask yourself, anytime you encounter somebody who's going too slow in the left lane, what are they driving? And I'm willing to bet you that if you did that over a period of time, you'd discover that the vast majority of the people misusing the far left lane are just people in cars or passenger vehicles who aren't paying attention. Well, I'm not in a hurry. I'm just going to dilly-dally over here, or lollygag, as I like to say. So I'm not a fan of this law. And, there's already a law on the books. And that's often the case where legislators pass a law that basically overlaps a law that's already out there. There's already a law for obstructing traffic. So if you were driving anything, I don't care what it is, if it's street legal and you're driving it in the left lane and you're obstructing the flow of traffic, i.e. going too slow, for example, a police officer can pull you over and say, what were you doing in that far left lane at 55 miles an hour on a Saturday night at 11 o'clock? What were you doing? And of course, the guy who's got the steering wheel up here is going to be like, what's wrong with that? I don't get it. Give him a ticket. But I can tell you that the vast majority of tickets that I've seen, and I've seen quite a few, not personally, I'm talking about for clients of mine, because I used to handle a lot of tickets. And I'm not sure I ever saw a ticket written for obstructing traffic like that, a left lane ticket. I don't think I ever saw one. And it's because I don't think police write them. And weirdly, if you drive up and down the freeway, such as I-75 in Michigan, you see police officers out there quite a bit. And where are they? They're in the median, meaning that when a slow vehicle goes by in the left lane, the police will be the first person to see it. So if this is such a widespread problem, show me the numbers to bear out the fact that this is a huge problem that needs to be taken care of. Because I guarantee they'd be like, no, we don't write that many tickets for that. And is it because the police don't know the laws? Or are they looking for the sexier speeding tickets? I don't know. But the point is that instead of passing a law that's on top of another law that's already there, why not say, how about this, guys? Let's send a memo to the state police and say, hey, you know something? Not trying to tell you how to do your jobs here or anything, but maybe you guys should enforce this law about passing or not passing in the far left lane and what people are doing hanging out there, camping in the left lane. Maybe you should enforce it. We've been getting complaints. I mean, we got people up here on Capitol Hill who want to pass laws, and it turns out we've already got them. So either the law's not being enforced as it ought to be, or it's not being broken as often as we thought. Which is it? I don't know. I'm curious. But Larry, thanks for sending that from WXYZ TV out of Detroit. Allie Hoxie wrote it. Proposed law would make it illegal for semi-trucks in Michigan to pass in the far left lane. Also for them just to use the far left lane, which I think is a bit too much. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. The question is not what you look at, but what you see.